All right, let's talk about something that's, way more than just a boring chapter in a corporate handbook. Today, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of making solid ethical decisions. And I'm not talking about some abstract policy. I mean a real, practical skill for your actual professional life. Okay, let's jump right in.
So, let's put you right in the hot seat. Imagine this lands on your desk. The pressure is on. A huge deal is hanging in the balance. What do? See, this is exactly the kind of gray area where business ethics stops being a textbook term and gets very, very real. It's not abstract at all. It's personal. So, what's the play here?
Well, to even begin to answer that, we've got to be on the same page about what business ethics actually means. It's not just about, staying out of jail. It's this active balancing act, weighing the needs of your customers, your team, your investors, even the community, all while keeping up with your legal and social duties. The end game? It's simple, but it's huge. Integrity in everything.
And this is a really, really important distinction. A lot of people think, hey, if it's legal, it must be ethical. But that's just not the full story. Think of it this way. The law is the floor. It's the bare minimum you have to do to not get in trouble. Ethics, that's the ceiling. It's about choosing to do the right thing in all that space where the law doesn't have a say.
So, how do you navigate those tricky gray areas without just, guessing? You don't have to just wing it. You need a toolkit. Think of it like a go-to framework that lets you break down a really messy problem and build a solid, ethical solution you can actually stand behind. It turns a gut feeling into a real process.
And inside that kit, 3 super important tools. First, you got to identify everyone, and I mean everyone, who has a horse in this race. We call them stakeholders. Second, you practice empathy to really get where they're coming from. And finally, you weigh the outcomes, the good, the bad, and the ugly, for every single one of those people. So let's break that down, and we'll start with the most human part of it, empathy.
Practicing empathy isn't just about being a nice person. It's a legit strategic tool. It means you're really listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk. And try this. Actually role-play it in your head. What would this decision feel like if you were the customer or that junior employee on the team? The research is super clear on this. The more we flex that empathy muscle, the more ethical our decisions get. It's a direct link.
And this slide just lays out that final step perfectly, weighing the outcomes. On one side, you map out the absolute best thing that could happen for everybody. But then, on the other side, you have to be brutally honest about the worst-case scenario. And here's the key question you have to ask. Could this cause harm? Is any part of this illegal or unsafe? Those are your non-negotiables, your hard stops. Okay, so having your own toolkit is awesome, but it's a whole lot more powerful when you're in a place that actually supports you using it. So now we're going to shift from just individual choices to how great companies build an entire culture of ethics. It's about moving from what should I do to what should we do.
This quote right here just nails it. A strong ethical culture isn't something that just comes in a memo from HR. It absolutely has to start at the very top, with leaders walking the walk. But it can't stop there. The real magic happens when every single employee feels like they have a stake in it, a responsibility to uphold those values.
So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it's built on these pillars. You need a code of ethics that's actually clear and easy to find, not some dusty binder on a shelf. You need communication to be wide open, where people feel safe, truly safe, to raise a red flag without fear. And, this is huge, you have to empower people, recognize them for doing the right thing, and hold everyone accountable all the way up to the CEO.
Okay, enough theory. Let's put all this, the toolkit, the culture, to the test. We're about to get into some of the most common and, frankly, toughest situations you might actually run into at work. Let's see how our framework holds up in the real world.
Conflicts of interest. They're a classic ethical minefield because, at their core, they just destroy trust. This table gives us a super clear playbook. Look, whether it's money, a personal relationship, or some old promise that's clouding your judgment, the strategy is always about 2 things: transparency and distance. You disclose it, you recuse yourself, you refer it to someone else. You protect your integrity, simple as that.
Now this is a heavy one. What happens if you see something really wrong? Whistleblowing is a major decision and you have to do it responsibly. The process is everything. First, you get your facts straight and you document everything. Then you always use the internal channels first. Give your company a chance to fix its own problems. And only if that fails do you think about escalating outside, making sure you know what your legal protections are.
we've talked a lot about the how and the what, but let's close out with maybe the most important part, the why. Why go through all this effort? Because, and this is the bottom line, doing the right thing isn't just a moral high five. It is one of the single greatest strategic advantages a business can have.
Just look at this number, 40%. That's not a typo. Research shows that companies with really strong, baked-in ethical cultures can outperform their competitors by a staggering 40%. This isn't just some feel-good, fluffy idea. This is a hard number that points directly to performance and long-term success.
So you're probably asking, where does that incredible 40% even come from? Well, it breaks down pretty simply. As you can see here, ethical companies just have fewer expensive legal headaches. It's pretty obvious, right? They also build way more trust, which means happier, more loyal customers. And investors, they're smart. They see a strong ethical culture as a sign of a stable, well-run company that's built to last.
And really, what this all rolls up into is something you've probably heard of, corporate social responsibility, or CSR. It's this powerful idea that being a successful business and being a force for social good aren't two different things. They're totally connected. When you operate ethically, you're not just building a better company, you're actually contributing to a better world.
So here's the thing. All of this starts small. It's not about waiting around for some giant moral crisis to land on your desk. It's about the little choices we all make every single day. So my challenge to you is simple. What is one small, intentional, ethical action you're going to take this week? Because that, right there, is where real change always begins.